Alright, 255-194, scope, 255-195 to 203, the department prescribed the minimum quantity design installation of overpressure protection devices. Protection against accidental overpressure. Except for the providing 255-197 of this part, each pipeline connected to the gas source with the maximum allowable operating pressure could be exceeded with the result of the pressure control failure. Other type of failure must have the pressure relief and the pressure limit device to meet with the requirements of section 255-199-201 of this part. Additional, each distribution system supply the source of the gas high pressure for the maximum operating pressure of the system. Heavy pressure regulation devices capable of meeting the pressure load other services conditions without experiencing the normal operation of the system could be activated in event failure of some portion of the system and designed to prevent accidental overpressuring. Control pressure of gas delivered to high pressure distribution. The maximum allowable operating pressure of the distribution system is 60 psi or less. The regulator following characteristics have no other pressure limited devices required. Regulator capable of producing distribution line pressure is recommended with the household appliances. Single support valve with the proper over the maximum pressure for the regulator inlet. Valve seat is made with a resilient material designed to the food calibration of the gas, improve the gas cladding of the valve, also with the resist permanent deformation when pressed against the valve port. With the pipe connection from the regulator does not exceed 2 inches with the diameter of the regulator under normal operating condition, able to regulate with the downstream with the necessary limited of accuracy, limited to build up the pressure under no low condition to prevent pressure which could cause unsafe operation without any connected properly adjusted gas utilization. Equipment of the regulator self-contained, no external static or control lines of the regulator type of include the release valve with the vented atmosphere of the release valve to open with the pressure for the gas contained going to the customer does not exceed the maximum safety pressure existent established in this part. B, if the maximum actual operating pressure for the distribution system is 60 psi or level, the serve of the regulator is U, if it does not have all the characteristics of subdivision A, but this gas contains materials so seriously inferior with the operations of the regulators that must be suitable protective device to prevent unsafe overpressuring of the customer's appliance with the regulator gas files. So if the maximum operating pressure of the distribution exceeds 60 psi unless high pressure has been either the customer, if then impractical or unsafe with the regulator with the pressure outside of the only following methods must be used to regulate limit the pressure for the gas delivered to the customer. Surface regulator having the character of the subdivision A with the section of another regulator located downstream of the surface regulator with the upstream regulator may not be set to maintain a pressure higher than 60 psi of the device must be installed with the upstream regulator for the surface regulator to limit the pressure of the inlet with the surface regulator at 60 psi or less. In the case of stream regulator follow the function properly with the device may either the relief valve with the automatic shut-off valve with the pressure for the inlet surface regulator exceeds the set pressure and remains closed until manually reset. A surface regulator with a monitoring regulator set to the limit of the maximum safe valve with the pressure of the gas relief delivered from the customer. The surface regulator of the relief valve is set over the pressure gas if the customer does not exceed the maximum safe valve of the relief valve may be either built over the surface regulator may be separate until the install of the downstream of the surface regulator. Either the combination may be alone only in the case where the inlet pressure of the surface regulator does not exceed the manufacturer's safe working pressure rating in the surface regulator may not be even when the inlet pressure of the surface regulator exceeds 125 psi. For higher inlet pressure, the methods of the paragraph 1 and 2 of the subdivision may be used. 4. Surface regulator automatic shut-off device that closes upon rise pressure downward to the pressure regulator from the regulator remains closed until manually reset. Any surface operating at 125 psi more surface customer required line of pressure equipped with either an excess flow valve that must have the first stage regulator located at least 50 feet from the building, or if 50 feet cannot be obtained without entering the roadway located at the property line. That's 255-197. Her requirements for the design pressure relief limiting device, lifting devices. Except for the rupture disc, each pressure relief of the pressure limiting device can be constructed with the material they operate for the device and impair corrosion. Have valve see with the design, not stick with the position that will move the device inoperative design. And it's also readily operated to determine the valve is free with the committee test to determine the pressure of the will operate with the committee test for the leakage when closed position. Have support made of the non-combustible material with the discharge stacks and vents outlet port to design with the prevent accumulation of the water, ice, and snow with the locate with the gas and the discharge into the atmosphere and do with the head of the design, install with the side with the opening of the pipe with the fittings between the steam and the protective of the pressure relief device is set on the vent line with the air adequate with preventing hammering valve preventing impairment of the relief capacity. Where installed with the position regulator station to protect with the pipeline from the overpressuring design installed with the compliant with the subdivision B with the section of the vent any single incident such as explosion vault with the damage of the vehicle with the affecting the operation both of the overpressure protection of the device of the district regulator. Except for the valve, they isolate the system and unserve the protection source of the pressure of the design to prevent authorized operation. Stop valve will make the pressure relief valve of the pressure limited device inoperative where the gas pressure is included with the two or more states of the supply pipelines, except for the field regulator design inside. Install the compliance subdivision, the next section, single incident of one stage inversely affecting another stage. For new installation or existing above ground installation such as low pressure pipeline with minimum separation distance between overpressure protection device and regulator between stage regulation shall be 50 feet, or where it's impractical to cover the inferring subsurface if it's not less than 25 feet upon approval of the department. These requirements contained in subdivision D, B, or subsection do not apply with the existing station due to the location located in other station protection, the design feature for the adequately protected against credible single incident affecting the operation of both overpressure devices and district regulator, or which supplies integrated distribution system employing multiple overpressure protection devices sufficient capacity to prevent overpressuring over the distribution system, notwithstanding installation date with a retroactive provided by section 252.2a with as part of the overpressure protection is provided with the monitoring regulator means that the must provide to verify that the regulators function properly. Alright, required capacity of pressure relieving limiting system. Each pressure relief pressure limiting station group of the stations installed with the low pressure distribution systems must have enough capacity must be set to operate with ensure the pressure may not cover the unsafe operating condition for the properly adjust the gas utilization equipment. Each pressure relief pressure limiting station group of the stations installed with the pipeline other than low pressure for the distribution system must have enough capacity must be set operate limited with the chem pressure for the corner of the following paragraphs. Maximal operating pressure 60% psi or more may not exceed maximal operating pressure more than 10% of the pressure for the produces a hoop stress of 75% of the system yielded strength, whichever the lower maximal operating pressure of 12 psi gauge or more, but less than 60 psi of the pressure may not exceed the maximum allowing operating pressure plus 6 psi gauge. If the maximal allowing pressure is less than 12 psi gauge, the pressure may not exceed the maximal operating pressure more than 50%. When more than one pressure regulating compressor station feeds the pipeline, the relief valve of the protective device must be attached. Install each station ensure the complete failure of the largest capacity regulator compressor and single run and lesser capacity regulator compressor in the station will not pose pressure in any part of the pipeline distribution system in excess of which for the design against both the protected which is lower. Leaf valves and other pressure limiting devices must be installed near each regulator station and low pressure distribution station with capacity with the maximum operating pressure of the maintaining 2 psi gauge. Or 255.203 instrument controlling, sampling, and piping. Section apply with the design instrument control sampling pipe the components that it does not permanently close systems such as fluid, fill, temperature response device. All materials employed with a pipe connection must design with the particular conditions for the following paragraph. Each takeoff of the connection attaching boss fitting the adapter must be made with a material suitable to withstand maximum servo pressure and the temperature for the pipe with equipment with attached for the design satisfactory withstand all stresses without fatigue, except for the takeoff lines that can be isolated sources of the pressure for the other valve and shut-off valves must be installed in the takeoff line and near as practical at the point of takeoff of the blowdown valves must be installed as necessary. Brass copper may not be with a temperature for greater than 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Pipe components containing liquids that must be protected from the heating other means of the damage due to freezing. Pipe components with liquid that may accumulate must drain and drip. Pipe components subject to the solids deposits must be suitable to connection for cleaning. Arrangement of pipe component support must provide under anticipated operating stress. Each joint between section of pipe between the pipe to valve with the fittings made with the manner suitable for the anticipated pressure for the temperature of condition. Slipping type expansion joints but not used. Expansions may not be able to provide flexibility with the system itself. Each control line must protect the anticipated cover. The damage must be designed and installed to prevent damage to any one control line from making the regulator overpressure protective device inoperative. Alright, 204 risers installed January 27, 2019. Risers design may be installed, may be tested, and ensure that their performance anticipated external and internal loads acting on assembly. Factory assembled anode-less risers must be designed to test in accordance with ASTM-F 1973, described in 10.3 with a towel. All risers used with the connector regulator stations plastic manuals must be rigid, designed to provide adequate support resistant lateral movement and anode-less risers in accordance with the paragraph must be rigid riser casing. Alright, that makes that tape.